So Legendary Hero is Dead has concluded with episode 12 this week, and honestly, as someone who jumped aboard this show because the degenerate humor just clicked with me, it hit my funny bone, I was pleasantly surprised by how the second half onwards, and by the time you reach the closing moments, the credits start playing, how much I came to appreciate how they twisted a normal kind of like, here's a person who's not really fit for the role but has to become the hero. They turned that into an actually pretty fresh and compelling hero story plot that never lost the charm of its degenerate humor. And obviously, if you're not into degenerate humor, if you don't like perverted fanservice-y humor, yeah, obviously, most of the show wouldn't be for you, but anyone who does get a kick out of the raunchy, kind of like overblown, just, I can't believe what I'm saying, yeah, this show was actually a really pleasant surprise. Now, full live reaction to all 12 episodes are available on my Patreon if you do want to see my full uncut thoughts as I watch these wonderfully hilarious episodes. You can head on over there and consider supporting. Now, I didn't talk about last week, we're doing kind of like a double video of 11 and 12, but overall, do I leave satisfied in wanting a season 2? Absolutely. There's some fun twists and turns. I mean, they definitely have been hinting at that the hero, the original, Sion I believe is his name, soul was in the sword's body, I guess you could say. And we get the confirmation that not only, yes, the soul is there, but two, the sword has actually picked our boy Toka as being the next legendary hero. So this isn't a situation where he's just kind of in the body and it's going to have to be a dual wield situation. No, if the Mon is there, he can definitely summon the original hero and he can be kind of like an aided support here. But at the end of the day, our boy has actually grown into being and accepted as the new hero. And what I've been saying for a while about this show is how I like the fact that rather than going the route with someone who literally started the show with the perverted humor of all he does for a living is he grows daikon radishes, paints them, and puts stocking on them to perverted fools like himself. You can't tell me that by the end of episode 12, a person like that should be gun-ho ready to save the world. In fact, he should be trying to run away from it. So what would cause him by the end of the show to be in a situation that kind of felt heroic? Well, if it's something personal like trying to save his childhood friend and clearly love interest, that makes a lot more sense, and that's what they went for, and in doing so, it starts to kickstart that hero mindset of he's not going to stop being a pervert, especially if he's going to have harems throwing themselves at him. But at the end of the day, you can write it as we're going to slowly but surely see him become a better person, but still keep that degeneracy there. And I think that's what made it quite special, because anyone who's seen a couple of fantasy shows where hero pulls out a sword, whether like Zelda, you know, you pull the Master Sword out and you go on a big old quest, or you pretty much get these moments where, you know, hey, I'm dead, I'm gonna pass the torch to you. A character like Toka should not be a hero by any count, and the fact that it took him most of this show to get to a point where the sword even accepted him as being the hero is really refreshing. And I think one of the best examples with episode 12 about why this show works so well is how this is arguably, it has like everything he's ever wanted perversion-wise, yet it shows the heart of the soul at the end of the day. So when he drinks one of the potions last week, the credits start playing because he passes out and it looks like he's dying. And he meets up with the true legendary hero who shows him like this mirror, and I guess it shows you whatever your greatest fantasies are, you could go through and live it out, and it's just naked beauties for days. Yet he turns away because he has to keep his promise. He has to save, of course, his girl. He does. Best friend, love interest, clearly there's mutual feelings for both of them, even though they still butt heads. And I like the fact that a character that if you would have given him, it feels like the same outcome at the beginning of the show, you feel like the humor would have been amplified even more, where he would try to go through that mirror and someone would have to hit him upside the head. But no, he did it all by himself, saying, I still have unfinished work. I like how even at the end, where even though it goes completely fan servicey, where you have like 6 women throwing themselves at our boy because, I mean, he's the legendary hero, he saved the day, who wouldn't want to be by his bedside tonight? And she pulls him in and pretty much says like, you know what, I made a promise, you can feel up my naked thighs 100 times. And had he not opened his damn mouth and said that the legendary hero can kind of watch through the sword, he actually would have gotten his reward. But it kind of goes hand in hand of showing why the show's so degenerate, but why it actually also shows that there's a legit chemistry bonding between these two. And while, yes, I completely admit, it's ridiculous, it's over the top, it's perverted as hell, you know, those Blu-rays are gonna sell just because there's gonna be a few nipple shots uncensored, you can't deny that Toka as a character actually evolved quite a bit from his starting point in episode 1 as a daikon radish fetish farmer to actual hero in the making, and that's really, really fun. Hell, you even made Kyle kind of a tsundere. Throw in the actual hero and he can't say no and he can put his revenge on hold, though I imagine if we got a season 2 it wouldn't be long before he tries to kill him again, but that's just me. Like, this kind of hits that sweet spot of like, would I ever claim this is an amazing or great show? No, but it's a damn fun, good watch. It's kind of like in the similar vein to me as like High School DxD, like that's kind of like the similar ballpark where it just has like a fun kind of twist on a story that you're familiar with, but it's perverted and fan servicey as hell. That's kind of what a show like this does. And honestly, if they made a season 2, I would absolutely watch it. I think there is a interesting world here. I think they had fun. Look at the mayor storyline. I brought it up before, but it's another great example of perverted humor meets character development. This man literally started the show and pretty much was ready to abandon the entire town because he got forced into the mayor role. And what they ended up writing was a mayor who, even though was keeping a promise and doing these heroic things so he could see a princess naked, at the end of the day, he actually became the mayor that the town was always worshiping him as and rose to that role, right? That's what this show did a good job at. They made perversion part of a character arc, and it's honestly pretty refreshing to see how they did it, because anyone who's seen these types of shows know the general formula. But this show said, bruh, I mean, Toka at any moment's gonna try to cop a feel of those thighs, and half the characters are gonna do so. I think it was in episode 11 where you see the dad just like chasing after some titties, and I'm like, bro, what are we watching? This show has no shame, and then it'll just casually go into this badass action scene without a moment's notice. The fight was fun. I like the fact that it shows that had Toka just been retracting the sword into a more dagger formation this whole time, he probably would have been a lot more of a competent fighter than having a floppy sword flap around. But hey, I guess he won't have to worry about keeping his sword up too much if it's that small. Take that how you will. I mean, the innuendos of the show just kind of wrote itself anyway, but you get my point. I don't know. I like the show a lot. I definitely thought it was a little more slept on than I thought it deserved. Not by any means like My Home Hero level viewership, but I do think, given how much the anime community does like its perversions, and then don't tell me they don't, they absolutely do. This one actually walked that nice middle ground of perversion meets story and characterization. Like, the story was always fine because it's a general hero story, it's pretty hard to mess that up. But the actual characterization of characters like Toka or even the mayor, and honestly, the fact that the supporting cast actually felt like they developed, especially given that the second half of the show about saving a childhood friend, the first half she was just really there for fan service, but she actually became a lot more interesting once she got into that astral kind of spirit form. But that's just me. Let me know what you thought, whether on this last episode, the show as a whole. Would you like to see a season 2? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload new videos to the channel. And as I mentioned, we do have full live reactions to all these episodes available on my Patreon if you're interested in watching, and while you're there, you can also get a video shout out. So today we have Trap Senpai, Zuda, and Atlanticker 2. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.